For the next program, we're going to build a very simple grocery list maker. This is just to give us a little bit more experience with lists and how to manipulate them. And basically, we're going to have it uh, allow the user to type in a bunch of different um, items, and then we're going to put the items in a list, and then we'll print the list at the end. So the first thing that we're going to need is a variable to hold our grocery list. So we'll just say grocery list. Ooh, I spell it right. Grocery list. Cool. And then we're going to start by setting our grocery list to a list. So we're just going to make an empty list. So it has nothing at the very beginning here. The next thing that we want to do is we want to get some user input. Again, I think it's important to kind of think about what you want programs to do. So we're going to say get user input here, and then we're going to also print our list. Print list, right? So setting up these functions first can give us an idea of what the flow of the program is going to be. So we want to get the user input and we want to print our list. So we have our grocery list. We're going to create an empty list. This is just our setup. We could even do that, right? We could have a function that says setup. And we'll put this inside, no, not those things. Set this inside there. And then our functions, there we go, have, our main program has three functions. Setup, we get user input, and then we print our list. Right? So in the setup, all we're doing right now is we're creating our empty list. And in fact, I'm going to add another thing here. I'm going to add program running. So this will let us know. I'm going to set our program running to true. So we're going to use this to determine whether we're done giving our grocery list or not. Right? So when we start, we want our program to be running. Then we're going to get user input. Right? And to get our user input is we're going to, let's create another variable here and we'll call it user input. So this is going to be separate from our grocery list. So this is going to be the thing that we get, and we're going to add this to our grocery list. So we're going to take our user input, and remember, we've done this a bunch of times before. We're going to prompt for text with message, and in this case, we're just going to say add an item to the list or type done. List or type done. I'm going to put done in caps just so it's obvious that like that's a command, right? And the word done, like you're not going to go to the grocery store and buy a done, so that's pretty safe. And then we're going to we want to see whether we've typed in like a thing, right? So I want to either type in like something like eggs, or I want to type done. And so we want to check and make sure that we haven't typed done or we haven't typed eggs or whatever we've typed. So the first thing is we want to know whether we've typed done. So that's like the big thing. This could be anything else that we want to buy at the grocery store, but if we type done, we want to be finished. So we can do an if statement and a logic statement. So we want to see if our user input is equal to the text done. And I'm going to put it in caps so that it'll make it easy to check. So I'm going to put in the text to uppercase here. I'm going to put this right before our user input. So if I type it in lowercase, it's still going to say uppercase. And we're going to do something with that in a minute. In fact, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put this above. And if it does not equal done, we're going to add it to our list. Right? And if it does equal done, we're going to do something else. So we have two things here. One, if it's not done, and 2 if it is done. So to add it to our list, we're going to go to lists, and we're going to go to in list set. So set means we're changing the list. Our list is our grocery list. And we're going to insert it. Instead of at a number, we're going to insert it at the last. So right now our list is empty, so it'll add something to it. And we're going to add, what are we going to add? We're going to add our user input. Right, so this should add to our list. And then, if we're done, we want to stop getting lists. So right now, this is only going to get us one list. We don't want one list. We want a whole bunch of lists, a whole bunch of items. And so we're going to use a loop here, and I'm going to use repeat while. So we used repeat until before, but in this case, we want to repeat while our program is running. So we'll say program running. So if this is true, then it's going to repeat. And if it's not true, it's going to stop repeating. So if we say done, we want to stop repeating. So I'm just going to duplicate this, set program running to true, and I'm going to set it to false. So if we're done, the program is no longer running, and it's going to drop out of this loop, and it's going to go on to the last thing, which is print list. So right now, let's make sure this works. So if I type eggs, I get another list. If I type milk incorrectly, cereal, right? Obviously, I'm hungry for breakfast. I keep getting another prompt to add another thing. But if I type done, it stops giving me a prompt. That means it's dropped out of this loop, right? And so we can print our list. So in this case, we're going to go print. And let's just sort of do a setup here. We could print our list right away, but I'm going to say grocery list. And then we'll duplicate this. And we'll put just like some separator equal signs, just so it looks like, let's say if I say done, it says grocery list, right? And maybe one less, so that it's even under our grocery list. Looks good. And then we want to go through our list. So we do have a loop that can go through our list, right? For each item I in list. And it's going to look for our list, so it's our grocery list. So it's going to go through the first item, second item, third item, fourth item, and each time it goes through, as it repeats, it's going to apply it to this variable I. So I can just print the variable I. And you see it shows up here in our variable list. So if I run and I type milk, eggs, cereal, steak, broccoli. I don't know if I spelled that right, but let's say I have my list and I hit done, then it's going to give us our grocery list back. Milk, eggs, cereal, steak, broccoli. And that's it. We've got a working grocery list program in 3 steps. Setup, which is just creating our empty list and setting our program to running. Get user input, which is while the program's running, we're going to get our input and until we say we're done. And then last, we're just going to print out our list.